of all the people you talk to. So be prepared. Because I can talk to one person, but I'm not very good at talking in the press conference situation. If I can sit down and talk one-to-one, I can do it, but this is hard, but I try.
There is a rumour that I might be talking to you back at the hotel, but if you don't mind, I'll talk to you a bit now.
Right, yeah, whatever you want.
Thank you. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's quite a while since Queen have been out on stage. Can you tell me, in the run-up to this particular tour, did you have any doubts about the future, doubts that you really wanted to go out and perform at all?
Not really in the back of the mind, I don't think. It's something which I pushed for about 6 months ago. It looked like people weren't sure if they wanted to tour again, and I started to kind of whip everybody up, because I think that if we don't tour, we'll die as a group. You know, I think really that's the thing which holds us together. And gradually, I mean, you can't push people too much, but gradually the others got the same idea from different directions anyway, and it was a natural time for us to go out. No, we're all very happy actually, and having got together as a performing group instead of as a studio group, it feels great. It really feels very good again. Because in the studio we all argue a lot, and it's difficult to sort out what we should be doing, but on stage we know what we should be doing. You know, we should be just playing all the best stuff we can find as well as we can, and giving good entertainment, and you know, go out and kill.
Tell me about
very
some
nice
of these arguments, if you would. I mean, what sort of things? Is it the decision on material?
Yeah, because we're all very different and we all write, and as time goes on we get further apart in a way in terms of what kind of music we want to play. So there's always this compromise going on, and sometimes it's quite uncomfortable, it's hard. But at the same time it's worth it, because nobody gets their own way, and that can be a good thing. You know, if you have somebody in the band who would just tell everyone what to do, then you wouldn't have a band, you know, you just have a solo artist, and it doesn't have the strength that a real group has.
Queen, of course, have a fabulous stage show. I believe you're taking along tons and tons of lights and
As
amplifiers
usual, yeah,
and so
more
forth.
than ever.
Is it too much at all? I mean, do
No,
you feel it's getting out of control?
No, it's fun, it's great. It's like a circus, you know. That doesn't mean we don't play music, because we think the music is the #1 thing. But as far as we're concerned, if we get on that stage, we're going to give people everything in that 2 hours or whatever. You know, and a rock show should be a rock show, and it should, you know, I'm not going to say it shouldn't blind you and deafen you, but it should wash over you, and you should come out feeling a different person than when you went in. You know, it should be a complete experience, and that's what we do.
But of course,
too seriously. Like, I mean, if I write a song and put it on a video, I don't want to sort of create a very, very specific image, because I mean, you ruin people's fantasy thing. Like, I mean, every time somebody hears a song, it's you build up your own image of what it's like. And sometimes the best thing to do with the video is to keep it very open. So then that way, a person who's listening to it suddenly doesn't say, "Oh my God, he's destroyed the image that I wanted this song to be." So
on the other hand, radio, the song title of Radio Gaga was looking like a certain statement, putting radio back in where it belongs.
it was a bit of, yeah. I think that I'm not quite. I think you should ask Roger that more, because I mean, he wrote that song and it sort of kept changing a lot. I mean, it was called Radio Gaga before or whatever, and he kept changing the lyrical content, and so it really went from black to white. It kept changing, and in the end, but I think it was written against radio before, and then it was for radio. So I mean, it's him writing. So you have to ask him.
part of your European tour, of course, takes in England and Britain, indeed. So tell me, does it mean anything special to you playing England, or is it just another concert hall, just another stage?
I think every show that we do is about the same. I mean, London, of course, is. I find it, to be honest, I mean, it's a place I hate playing London, to be honest, because I just find it's very, very, what's the word? It's not that, I mean, most of the other, no, it's just being London, because we come from London and all that, especially for me. I find it very hard going, goodness, because it's the familiarity and things. We started there or whatever. In one way I like playing it, in one way I don't like playing it. Otherwise, everywhere else it's fine. I just find it very hard going, London.
What do you like about playing it?
London is where we started off and things like that. But I mean, that's 10 years ago. That's the only thing. I'm like, that's where we started off, and if it wasn't for London, we wouldn't be sitting here. I mean, the college circuit and all that. That's it. We can't play the college circuit. I mean, we can, but we just.
You never have the impression that you grew far too far away from it, I mean, what's going on.
No. I mean, all people ask questions like that, but what does it mean? It means nothing. I mean, what do you mean? You mean I should go and walk in the streets and then be...
No,
that
it means
doesn't
what? Do you feel you
create
can still
anything.
identify with your audience?
Of course we can, because I mean, if they're still fans, or if we played to them in a college circuit, if they still like us, they're going to come and see us playing, you know. And I think this being in the street thing, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, the people who started out with us, I mean, they probably like to know that the Queen have become successful, and they like to see you playing in bigger halls afterwards, and that's sort of something that goes as well. So as far as we're concerned, I mean, we still, you know, we cater for those people as well.
You mentioned you wanted to go to Brazil again. Why are you so interested in going to these countries? Is there a difference in the audience? Well, what is it a difference?
Well, it is. Yes. Well, it's not so much different. It is different, yes, but it's also that it's an area we haven't played. I mean, it's like there are so many territories that we haven't actually played, and we know that those people buy our records, like Korea and places. And Bangkok, Eastern countries. I mean, our records are sold there, and I'm sure the same way as a London audience or a person buying records in America wants to see Queen. I mean, so do these people. And for me, I just think that time permitted, and you have to really schedule that. And I would like to play to these people as well.
You go the first time to Italy. How do
Yes.
you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, until I go there, I'll find out. The only taste we've had of Italy is when we did the San Remo thing, but that's doing it's a television show. But to actually play to an Italian audience through the concert, I couldn't tell you because I haven't done one.
Your shows are quite exhausting, quite physical.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna.
Training for it. You did
Well, this time,
a kind of ballet.
Yeah, no, this time I'm just. I mean, I don't know if you know, but I fucked my leg up about 2 months ago because I broke my leg. It's okay, but I'm very worried about that as well because it's not 100% back. So I have a therapist that gives me massages and a routine that I have to go. And until these shows start, I don't know how. You know, there's certain things I don't think I'll be able to do. Like, I mean, I can't jump around as much now because I'm very worried about my knee. So as far as that's concerned, I mean, I'll have to see what happens when I start doing the first couple of shows.
How long have you actually been?
I'll just sit in a wheelchair and sing them.
How long have you actually been living here in Munich?
About, let me see, nearly 3 months, 4 months. Because I've been doing this, the solo project. It seems to go on forever. And I was supposed to have finished it just before this tour, but obviously I haven't. You know, I've got too many songs.
Talking about your...
Is it very different to Queen's style of music, your solo album?
I think so. It's going to be different. There's sort of things that I've tried out that I couldn't do before with Queen because it's just a different format, and also because it's a solo album, I can write all the tracks, and so I've got something like 12 tracks that are going to go on, and I can run riot with them, you know. So,
can you tell me about some of the big differences that you see between that and Queen style?
Well, I mean, it's just that I've written songs that we just haven't. I mean, I've sort of tried like reggae type styles and things, which I don't think Queen have ever done, and that kind of, I've used on one track I've used a huge orchestra. You know, I mean, we've always wanted to use an orchestra on Queen, but we never ever did because I mean, Brian recreated a kind of orchestra with his guitar and things like that. So this gave me the opportunity of actually using live orchestra, and I've used the Munich Philharmonic, and they came and did one session. So. That was something different. And
how pleased are you with the way the album's gone so far?
What?
How pleased are you so far with the way your album's gone?
Oh, I'm dead pleased.
Are you going to release the song you did for the Metropolis sound?
Yes, that's being released in September as a single, because it's CBS have already got that, and they're releasing it as a Freddie Mercury single.
Would you also like to include some of your personal songs, because each one of you, except John, lived on solo projects, would you also like to include those in your show? One of each?
Oh no, you mean the solo things? No, I don't think so. Because number one, my songs aren't finished anyway, so if I play any of my solo stuff, people are not going to recognize it because they haven't heard it yet. It's not released. And at the moment we haven't, I don't think we're going to do any solo project stuff because there's so much to do. There's about 13 albums we've got to cover of Queen.
It's very important for you, for your solo stuff, to take enough time to make it really very good for your staff? Because you
Yes, I mean, I just, I want to spend enough time when I think it's okay, it comes out. I mean, I don't have to spend a hell of a long time, just, you know, I mean, you can spend a short time if you think it's okay. With me, it's just taking long because I have to do so many different things in between, like doing videos and then routining and things, so I just haven't finished it.
Sorry, we're going to have to move fairly soon around the table. John will be coming here.
Couldn't tell you. We could break up tomorrow. You never know. It's just, how can I tell you something like that? I mean, it's like...
You
if I-
never think about the time.
Of course. I mean, when we started, I thought when we first started, I thought I was going to give it 5 years. I thought after 5 years we were going to break up.
But
And there are many times we said, okay, let's call it a day, and then a week later we come back.
what was your career going to look like after Queen?
I don't think about that. I don't think I'm not that boring. I don't think about, my God, if Queen finishes tomorrow, what am I going to do? I look upon it. I mean, if it finishes, then I'll think about it. Do you live like that? Do you think every day what's going to happen? If Queen is kaput tomorrow, okay, I'll think of something else. Okay, take it easy. Thank you.
they've all done their solo projects so far. Why
Yeah.
haven't you come up with one?
Well, I can't sing, so that makes it difficult to do a solo project. And I also find it quite hard writing songs, and I don't tend to write that many. You know, I don't have a lot of songs lying around. I just do one or two when we're doing an album, and that's about it. And it's not an easy thing doing a solo project. It's a great responsibility. You've got to do the, you know, come up with material, a whole album's worth or even more, and then, you know, sift out the bad ones, and be in the studio a long time, and I'd have to work with somebody else, other singers, which would be difficult. And at the moment, I'm reasonably content and satisfied if the group's doing well. I mean, I may get a burning frustration perhaps in a few years' time, but not yet. I haven't decided to do that yet.
You all had a few months off.
Yeah.
What you've been doing over the last months, you've been busy with music, or you just try to get away from all that?
Try to get away from it for a bit, actually, yeah, because we've been doing it, you know, quite a long time.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Well, I've got quite a large family. In fact, we just had another baby before Christmas, and we used a little bit of the time we've had off lately to finally move house and get something a little bit, you know, with room for all the children.
Having a family and all that, do you never ask yourself the question, is this rock and roll lifestyle really worthwhile after 10 or 12 years?
Yes, you do. You go through questions in both directions, really, because I've been married quite a long time. I got married when I was I think was it 1975, so it was quite early on in our career. And in a way, you do live. I do, but then it's different for all of us. I live quite a sort of a split life in a way. My life at home is very different from being on the road, you know. But you question it in both ways, you know. You think, but then again, there's the other question is, what else would you do, you know? And while the group's still going and working, I'm very happy to be doing that, because I don't think anything else could ever live up to what we've done, and I think if I'd find anything else a little bit, you know, disappointing.
After all these years and after, you know, getting really big, is there still enthusiasm there when you go on stage?
Yes. Well, there will be.
Still the same as when you started? Or?
Well, I think hopefully this time there will be, because we haven't actually done any. We haven't done any concerts now for nearly 2 years. I mean, the last one we did was in November '82 in Japan. That was the last one we did. So hopefully there is. I mean, I'm looking forward to it a lot, actually, because another thing of having all that time off and not doing any solo work, I've also got bored, you know. So in the end, you know, it's nice to be out working.
You had huge success over here in Europe with the new material.
Yes.
What happened in America?
No,
Can you explain that?
I can't explain it either. No, I mean, I found it quite upsetting, actually. Well, not upsetting. I was disappointed and surprised, really. Especially when you have a song like Radio Gaga, which has been a hit in most of the countries around the world. Actually, it's been sort of a top 3 record in a lot of countries, and I think in America it got about 15 or something. And then after that, none of the other singles have done anything at all. But I don't know, perhaps, I mean, obviously we're not either things about the record company, or we're not to American taste, or I don't think they like some of our videos that we've done recently, because they don't seem to fit, you know, because of that MTV thing. I mean, they like a lot of the more traditional sort of, you know, stagey sort of, you know, histrionic sort of guitars and, you know, and lots of heavy metal, yeah, lots of leather and that sort of thing.
Over there for a long time.
Or we have to go over there and work there. No, not at the moment. I mean, at the moment, I don't think we could actually do it would be perhaps a little bit disheartening to tour over there at the moment for us.
Queen is always centered in Europe. You never went for a long time to America or something like that.
No, we spent...
Like a lot of English bands, they went just reaching for America. But
we've spent a lot of time in America, because we've toured over there a lot, and we've picked up a bit of the culture, but we've never really settled there in a way. No, I mean, I think we are sort of, well, we're still essentially English-based. We all live in England, but we've spent a lot of time in Europe as well. But,
John, if I could just put a preamble on this.
Yeah.
I've been joined now by John Deacon, bass player with the band. Can I ask you, John, after playing all these huge concert halls, after selling millions and millions of records, what more is there for Queen to do? I mean, what are the mountains you still have to climb?
I don't know, it's not like, could answer that in reverse in a way, is what would we do if we weren't in Queen? I mean, and that is something I don't particularly relish at all. So I think that the thing is, it's sort of like in life, you know, it's to keep working. It's more fulfilling than to stop and do nothing, which is the worst thing that can happen. But there's usually new challenges to look for, you know.
Are there? Because this is a huge tour coming up now. I mean, how do you fire yourself up for a tour like this one coming up? I mean, you must have done it all before so many times.
Yes, but that's probably why we haven't done it for like 2 years now. We haven't done a concert for 2 years, and so obviously we needed that sort of, you know, we had lost a bit of enthusiasm, and so we took some time off. But by now we've all got we're all very keen to do it again now, because we've had a long time off, and 2 years is a very long time. You know, I mean, it really seems quite distant in the memory, especially when because we packed such a lot into, like, 10 years. You know, we've done such a lot of work. Some of it is quite a bit of a blur in the memory, and some of it I can't even remember at all.
Is it still fun getting up there on stage and playing to thousands of people?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot, actually. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
And does it give a thrill, the big cheer from the crowd and so on?
I think so, yeah. I've missed it, actually, yeah.
Do you not feel sometimes that audience reaction is automatic these days, that maybe all you'd have to do is read out a shopping list to get enormous reaction?
No, I think you still have to play the music, else we wouldn't get anything. I mean, obviously with a group of our size, there is sometimes a little bit of that. But I mean, if you really lost popularity, you wouldn't have that enthusiasm at the shows.
Do you ever feel you would like to play the smaller places that nowadays you don't seem able to play?
Yes, it would be nice too. But it's quite a big operation. It's something we've slipped into over the years, that our tours have become rather large productions in terms of staging or lighting. But it's very difficult to do that. And we did it once about 4 or 5 years ago in England. We played some smaller halls, and it was quite fun. Yeah, but
is making money a motive to keep a band like this going?
Not so much now, because at least we have that sort of security now. It's an essential. It's still an essential substance in life, and it costs a lot of money to keep our operation going. But that's not. I don't think the motive now with anybody so much, because I think we've all had. It took us a long while to actually earn money out of this business, because everybody has their bad deals and that sort of thing. So it wasn't really until about 77, 78 that we really started, and now we've had time to adjust to it and got used to it really. And so that doesn't become so important anymore.
How is songwriting divided?
Oh, quite a lot.
Of the album, yeah?
Enough. Sorry?
I think you did one song on the board?
Yeah, just one, yeah.
How is it divided? How do you get your song on the album? Kind of
well, we argue a lot, yeah. And also it's difficult, like deciding who's, trying to, also when people have written a lot of songs, which ones they want on and choosing the best ones. So we go back and forth. But in fact, I only really wrote one song. I had a couple of little ideas, but never finished them off. So, you know, I was quite happy. I had one, and it's done well. So, I'm quite satisfied with that.
Not feeling frustrated?
Not particularly, because I said I don't really write a lot of songs, so I do find it difficult. No, perhaps in 1985, I might get a bit bored and want to do something, but not yet.
Have you got any studio facilities at your home?
I used to, but we just moved house, and I haven't really done anything yet. I mean, I thought I'd keep that separate from being at home. But I might get involved in a small studio in London with a friend who used to work on one of our tours. So I might get a little bit more involved next year. Something I'm thinking about.
Are you interested in producing young bands?
Yes, I am possibly. Yeah, but I mean the hard thing is finding the time. You know, because we're quite busy and.
I guess it won't be The Damned or something like that.
Sorry?
It won't be The Damned or something like
No,
that.
no, I quite like.
I mean, did you've seen something new that really interests you?
Yes. Well, I mean, if I did something, it would tend to be. It would probably be slightly more dance orientated, or fairly modernistic, either with Linns or Fairlights and that sort of thing. But you still need songs and singers, really.
Do you regularly go out at night to see new bands at work?
No, I haven't. Not so recently. No. Perhaps I've been getting a bit jaded in the old age. You know.
This tour of the works is going to be a big tour again. Can you tell us how much money you spend on the production, on the stage setup and the lights and things?
Well, I'm not quite sure, but it's quite a lot. I think the lighting and the stage set has cost, I don't know, $200,000 or $300,000, but it was all made in America and been shipped over here. So I mean, we don't. I mean,
Isn't it more expensive building it in America and shipping it over?
Well, that's where the people who have done it before us, that's where they're based in Los Angeles, and who designed some of our other lighting effects, the ones that we had on the tour before. But I mean, we're hoping. I mean, it's quite a fine line just for us actually to break even on a tour, because we have a lot of people, and everybody likes a certain amount of luxury these days. You know, nobody wants to stay in
How many
bed and
people?
breakfast anymore. I think probably about 40 people. So it becomes very expensive.
Are you going to use any videos or films?
We may do. I think we might use. The idea is perhaps on Bohemian Rhapsody we might use a little video for there. Yeah.
The videos you've already done for the songs?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Nothing that's specially made?
No. We haven't really. We've never really got into that sort of thing. I mean, it would be lovely to do something like that, like Pink Floyd did for The Wall, but it needs a huge amount of preparation. Yeah. Oh, and more money as well. I mean, they're ridiculously expensive.
Do you recognize something of your own personality in the classic cliche that the bass player is the choir member?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
John Elvis.
Yeah. Bill Wyman. Yes, there's a certain amount of truth in that. Yeah.
Let me.
Can you
Oh
guess
no, well, not.
Can you guess a reason for that? I mean, everyone says it's a cliche, but in fact it's the truth.
It is a truth. I don't know. I think it goes in a way like I think lead singers and lead guitarists don't like to be upstage.
Are you happy not to have the centre stage then?
Well, that's how I sort of started out with the group. I mean, it's part of the reason I think because they'd already had a few different bass players and nobody seemed to fit in. And actually, I went along for an audition, and I think part of that aspect of my personality was perhaps the reason why I did fit in, because you're not in any way trying to, in a way, particularly, especially on, steal any of the limelight in a way, and especially in the early days. I mean, because Freddie and Brian really used to, they had, the whole idea of the songs and the group already established. So I joined when the group was
After
established.
10 years of hard work, do you have the impression that the four band members became closer to each other, or that?
Well, we have different spells. Sometimes we fall out, and sometimes we make friends in different ways. Yeah, it sort of changes round and round. I see quite a lot of Roger recently because I did a little bit of work on his album. Went out and helped him, and been on holiday a couple of times with him.
Do you think it's come to a kind of final stadium, or do you think it's going to last?
I don't know.
More years?
I know we've had our doubts this last year or two about how much longer we'd carried on, because obviously nobody particularly wanted to work together for a while. and so we, you know, I mean, I'm very glad that we're here together now and getting ready for, you know, going on tour.
There's a lot depending from this tour, the success or...
Yeah, I think the tour will be successful, but it obviously depends, you know, how much everybody enjoys it and, you know, where we go on from here.
Were you waiting for the phone calls from the other bands where you received now what to do?
A little bit of that, yeah, a little bit of that, got bored. In the end, what we do tend to do is have a meeting, really, and we sat down and we thrashed it out. I mean, a lot of problem was trying to tie in working around with Freddie doing his solo album, because that was obviously, when he said he was definitely going to do that, that was obviously going to be a big chunk of time out, where Queen obviously can't do anything because he's working. And he was hoping to, I think, finish it by now, but he hasn't, and he's decided to leave it and come back in November and December. I think he's going to do a couple more months' work then and finish it then. So that's a new development as well, because, you know, with the solo project. Because in the early days, everybody was, you know, totally committed to the band, and that was all. And, you know, we just had the commitment to work together and you know, obviously to be successful. And now we've obviously come to the point where, you know, everybody wants something else in their lives besides Queen a little bit, you know.
Because the Queen's framework is not... I mean, you're feeling persuaded by the framework of Queen to work in.
Sorry?
You're feeling persuaded by the Queen's framework to put all your emotions and creative ambitions.
Occasionally you do, yeah, sometimes.
Well,
yeah.
why don't you try and, you know, adjust the framework to the wishes of the writers?
Just the framework.
Or is it too...
It's very hard. I mean, sometimes the arguments and disagreements we have are very, you know, because we all have different musical tastes, you know, and we'd all go in slightly in different directions.
And they all had their solo project, and each one was saying it was something they couldn't do in the band.
Yes.
And that's why I wondered why they're not doing it within the band.
Well, because...
I mean, is it so...
Because we only make well, now we're getting to the point where we only make an album every 18 months, 2 years, and that's not enough. There's not enough output if you've got a lot of songs. I mean, because that's why Roger did it in the first place, because he had a lot of material. I mean, he's done 2 solo albums now.
On the other hand, probably some fans may wonder about the latest album title, The Works. That looks like the final statement, something you achieved completely, like the complete Shakespeare. Or the complete order or something like that.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe the last one, maybe not. Hopefully we'll do another one, but with no plans yet. I mean, it's one of the, because we don't plan that far ahead at the moment. There used to be a lot more years ago. We used to be more planned about how much we were doing, but now it's getting more short term, which is unsettling in a way, because, you know, it gives you a little bit of uncertainty about the future, about, you know, what to do really. So, I don't know, time will tell, you know.
Do you have the impression that Queen after 10 years had the critical acclaim the band deserved?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Yeah, sometimes
is the one goal left for Queen? One thing...
Well, for me personally, I'd be very interested to go and tour the Far East, because we've never done that. I mean, the only place we've been to out there is Japan. I mean, I'd like to go to a lot of the other countries out there, and I'd love to go and play in China, but I think it'll be quite a few years in the future before that's possible. So that's one ambition for me.
What are the plans after the Viennese concert is the last one? What are the plans for after?
We're going to South Africa for 2 weeks.
Straight off?
Yeah, straight off, yeah. And then obviously November, December we've got off, because Freddie's coming back in the studio, and then we're going to do this, we just agreed this week to do a festival in Rio in January next year. They've got a big festival that's running for... All's closed. Yeah, but time permitting we would have done it, but...
Yeah, we would have done it, well, we'd like to do it.
Yeah, but we had a limited schedule of time to slot everything in, so it was, you know, one of those things.
Okay, can I ask you to move on?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Means that you're starting a tour in Belgium.
What?
Why did you choose Belgium to start this tour?
Actually, we didn't really choose it. It was the way that all the halls worked out. I think from travelling from rehearsals in Munich And then we had the English dates were worked out, and I think so that was quite a reasonable place. We also know the hall quite well there. So it seemed like, I suppose it was just logistics.
Is it true that you originally wanted to play in stadiums when you planned?
No, not at all. No, in fact, we wanted to do the opposite. We wanted to play indoors because we've done. The last time we played, we did a lot of stadiums, and it's very difficult to control everything in stadiums to have a really good show. To get sound, the lights, some days it rains, and everything, and it's too big. People at the back can't see enough. So we thought we wanted to do an indoor tour. So we're not doing any stadiums on this tour.
You're one of the Queen members who's seriously busy with his solo project.
Well, I have been, yeah.
Have been?
Well, yes, but I sort of got over all that
It
now.
was quite a very good album, I thought.
Thank you, great.
Yeah, but you did a lot of old stuff. You did a lot of Dylan and
Yeah,
Springsteen.
yeah, I think it's
Why
good.
that?
Well, it was, the Springsteen one was because I liked Bruce Springsteen. I think he's very good. He's honest and he excites me. And I wanted to just do it the same as he'd do it, but faster, because he does that particular song very slowly. And the Dylan one was just a protest song, which I thought the lyrics meant even more now than they did when they were originally written.
There's a lot of social awareness on that album. I think a lot. It's quite.
Well,
that's strange for a Queen millionaire, isn't it?
Loaded.
You always get the question.
Yes. Well, see, in the band, you can't express your own opinion because there are 4 people, and they've all got different opinions. But when you do something by yourself, you have a free rein to express your own opinions about things, which is what I did, really.
That isn't possible on behalf of the Queen?
Not really, because you can't. I mean, for instance, if I don't believe, I'm very anti all this, the nuclear thing. I believe in a lot of things that perhaps the other members don't feel so strongly about. So, well, maybe not. Maybe they do. But it's very rare that we agree on everything, all 4 of us. Very rare.
What keeps this band together then? I mean, if you're not agreeing on social or political statements, and then on...
But you see, when we make music together as a band, we don't try to make social or political statements. We just try to make music to entertain people, all over the world. And that's a good enough goal in itself, I think. Because we've been to a lot of places that other bands haven't been to, and by going there, it opens a lot of doors.
So you must have faith in the fact that probably music can make young kids conscious about certain hot issues in this world.
I think it can, but not for a band to do it. It's very difficult unless they all think exactly the same. I love all that sort of thing if it's intelligently done. But
Queen is not.
I think just by bringing music to people in countries which don't really get much modern music or Western music, whatever you want to call it, rock and roll, that's a good thing because that really opens doors and it puts people more on one level. It's an international culture.
I think
It's becoming more so every year.
The difference is that Queen, in their appearance, they don't take rock and roll that serious, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not that
Springsteen
serious.
and Dylan, they are living rock and roll.
Yes.
The Queen is always a bit, a bit
Well, you could-
tongue-in-cheek, bit.
Yes, true. But you could call us popularists. You see. That's getting really dark, isn't it? Hang on a minute. We'll have another hailstorm. It's a very good question, actually. But we are 4 different people, you see. And so really what we do is try to make popular music. But you're right, we're not, as a group, it's not as intense as a Dylan or a Springsteen, no. But, and I don't think it can be. Led Zeppelin never wrote about, intense issues. They just wrote about the last Tolkien book they'd read or whatever. But it's a very valid point. Yeah. But I did try and be a bit more intense on my own thing. But obviously, personally, you feel very intensely about things.
Do you think the thought of you, that your intention, what you want to do in music, that it's more diverse now than when you started?
No, I don't think so. I think it did get that way. I think we've come to realise between the four of us that really our role in things, what we're best at is making popular music that doesn't really say anything, but it does bring a lot of enjoyment to a lot of people. I think we know that we're good at that. We have a certain magical chemistry at doing that. And so that's what we're sticking to. Perhaps we've realised our limits.
So in comparison, what do you think you could bring to the people with your solo album?
Only my own personal thoughts. And my own personal commitments to things,
Do you think it really could make them more aware of the things around them?
I don't know. I doubt it really in the end, but it's nice to say something. It's better than saying nothing. I mean, I like being intense about it, because I do get very intense about it. But for the band, you have to step back and realise and sort of take your place in the band and your position and make the band work on another level, on a different level. Let's face it, the band's records sell a lot more than my records, and they get to a lot more people.
So then the question is, what do you get back from the audience apart from the obvious applause and the cheering crowd and all that?
But it's not us sort of revelling in a concert situation. It's not us revelling in the sort of adulation. It's like the feeling of a really good night was had by all. That's really the main thing. Because if we feel we haven't played very well, we go out and we argue like, we really scream at each other. But it's the feeling that it was a great night. It was a good event, and it was everybody together,
Over the years, Queen has always adapted certain styles from different disciplines, like theatre and ballads and opera and classical stuff and all that.
Or we'll nick from anyone.
Yeah. I mean, the next question is, how original is Queen?
Well, how original is David Bowie? I mean, he's probably... How original is David Bowie? I mean, he's probably better at nicking than we are. But probably not always so obvious. I don't know, we just tried to blend in. We think something might work in there, we'll take it and sort of try and use it to effect. Sometimes it works, sometimes it probably doesn't. But how original are we? Well, there's only one.
Never know.
There's only one of us. You might hate it, but I don't know. Very difficult to say. I think we've made some pretty original records, some of them. But
would you say that the group situation more or less hinders you expressing your own personal thoughts?
Well, no, it doesn't, because I can go out and make solo albums. But that's right.
Sometimes
well, you see,
if you want to make a statement, that it should also be in the same light.
but nobody has a God-given right to be heard by everybody, you see. And, I mean, whereas a Queen record will be heard all around the world, probably one of mine won't. So you have to live with things as they are, to a certain extent.
What did you do if one of your solo albums was selling more than a Queen album?
Oh, God, I'd buy myself a tiara. No, I'd be absolutely delighted. I'd be thrilled.
Would that change your position?
I think they would, actually, because they help me a lot, anyway. No, wouldn't change the position in the band at all. Because we're still four very strong-minded people.
Position is set.
Well, we're all equal in the band.
But
We all scream at each other.
nowadays it's more Freddie Mercury and Brian May songs, and then come Roger Taylor, and then...
Yes, but even when they were writing most of the songs, it was still always four people in the studio arguing about every single detail. And it's always been like that, really. And it might not have appeared to that. And Freddie is obviously the most famous member of the band. He's the singer, like Mick Jagger being in the Rolling Stones. He's the natural visual focus, centre. And he's also very charismatic. He has a definite, very powerful personality.
When you have a few months out, like the last 2 years, do you meet each other as friends in that in between? between time, or as businessmen?
Oh, not as we've never thought of ourselves as businessmen. We're not, really. Oh, God almighty, I didn't finish that. Yeah, we do see bits of each other. Sometimes I won't see somebody for 3 months, but then, you know, I mean, John and I spent quite a lot of time together this year. And, yeah, we mix a bit. Sometimes a lot, sometimes not at all.
Freddie was talking about the magic of London. How do you feel about the actual state of England nowadays?
What does he know about the magic of London? He hasn't lived there for... I think it's getting better again. I think in the last few years England's been terrible, actually. It really did go... It really went down. I think it's getting back to close to where it was 15 years ago. Yes, it is getting back now. Better.
Are you still in touch with your audience on a personal level? I mean, what means the word fan for Roger Taylor?
That's a horrible word. I've never liked that word.
Why not?
It implies a sort of master-servant relationship, which is awful, you know. I mean, because we're really at their mercy. They didn't like the records or us or something, we wouldn't be anywhere. But it's very difficult, actually. We have a fan club, which is run from our office, and a lot of them drop in there all the time. And I mean, there's always packed down there. I suppose there's to a certain extent, but it's very difficult. I mean, you can't write letters to...
You wrote with
thousands of people.
Brian made the machines back to human sound.
Yes.
What do you mean with it? Is there more about it than just fuck all the synthesized, or...?
No, well, not really. It's meant to be a battle between machines and humans. It's a very old idea.
Do you have some specific groups in mind when you make that song?
Not really, just perhaps the whole movement. I think Brian, really they're more Brian's lyrics. I only wrote the middle 8 lyrically there. So I think his whole thing is getting back to humans. I think he was getting a bit pissed off that we were using too many machines in the studio. So, and he wanted to go back to like a heavy metal thing and playing, you know, all the basic lineup stuff. That's what it meant. I mean, I think the main thing is sort of back to humans.
That's it.
Yeah, basically. It's supposed to be a battle between the two, you know, musically. Whether it comes off that way, I don't know.
But it's not the confrontation with the new kind of synthesizer pop coming from England?
Well, not really, because I mean, we've been using a lot of those anyway. But yeah, I mean, I think some of those bands are very sterile, actually. I mean, it's all, you know, and it's all, and it's some of it's a little gutless. Yeah, I think some of them miss the point of music, really. They think if it sounds pretty, it's all right, but it's got no guts. You know.
Can you stand Radio 1 when you're sitting at home?
Do I?
Can you stand more than 10 minutes Radio 1 when you're sitting at home?
Yeah, I can actually. It's much better than it used to be. It's better than it used to be. It used to be awful. And it's not the best, but it's better than it used to be. And I think there are much worse stations in the States now. Much more mindless, where they just play the same 10 records.
What recent stuff influenced you as a songwriter?
What, you mean all the sort of technical? Yeah, I think everything influenced. Oh, yeah, you get influenced by everything. As it comes out, you can't help it. I mean, a lot of stuff you won't like, so you'll go in the other direction. And some stuff you will like, so you might start to go in that direction a bit.
We asked Freddie some questions about the singer Radio Gaga, but he was saying that these questions were for you. Because we were discussing the fact that Radio Gaga looks like a statement for putting radio back into action.
Yeah.
Used to be. On the other hand, you released an extremely expensive and outrageous video. What about that contradiction?
It is a contradiction, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll explain why though. Yeah, I mean, I think videos have become much too important because they're not. I mean, and we've been doing them for years, and they're so expensive and time-consuming, and a lot of them are so pretentious. some of ours, and they're actually sort of breaking things visually, and it's not the music anymore, you know. And they've become too all-powerful, I think. But at the same time, I mean, we want our record to be a big hit, and we know that the one way of making it, one of the ways of making it a big hit is by making a bloody great big expensive video, which we had to do. Yeah.
I read in an English newspaper that it was actually a song that came up with the right title.
Yeah, it was Radio Kaka was actually the original title. Yeah. Yeah. Hang on a second.
Roger.
You played the first time in Italy. How do you feel there?
I'm very pleased actually. I've been wanting to play there for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you expect down there?
I don't know
It sounds
actually.
every time very chaotic down there. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of bands have problems.
Yes, I know. That's what we've heard. We've got a very good organisation. I think we can cope with anything. I hope it goes okay.
Have you been down there privately?
Yes, I've been privately, and
What do you think about it?
it's a beautiful country. Love it. I think the food's amazing as well. I've only been to Rome and Venice properly, and I've driven a little bit in the rest, so I don't really know the country.
Roger, the last question.
Great.
Haven't you been a little frustrated because your album you played was very, very good, didn't do so well in the charts?
Yeah, really pissed off about it actually. Yeah, well, no, I don't know how well it's
How do you
done in
explain
Europe.
it? I mean, it's a very good album.
Got terrible reviews in England.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how well it's doing in Europe. I think it's too early to tell. But England had got to number 30, and I was very disappointed. Yeah.
What did you expected it to go to?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't have a clue what it was going to do. But you always secretly hope it's going to do well. Yeah.
Will you have to ask from your career after this tour, doing a show with Bruce Springsteen or doing?
Oh, that'd be great. I really don't know. We're just thinking about touring at the moment, and
Are you going
that's
to
taken
work
up.
with some drum machines on the stage?
No, we're not using any drum machines on stage.
Will you have Fred Mendel playing?
No, but we have a new guy called Spike, who's over there somewhere, who's downstairs looking at girls, who's playing synthesizers.
Why didn't Fred Mendel make it?
Because